Christmas time is here. Happiness and cheer.
Charlie Brown would be so proud right now.
Fun for all. I hate singing unless it's karaoke, and I've had a lot of eggnogs. Merry Christmas, bro. I'm happy
Merry Christmas,
I'm happy I
man.
gave you that Christmas joy
Yeah,
right there.
you did, man. You really did. And you're a great singer, by the
Appreciate
way,
that.
man.
I was watching. We'll get to this. Is gonna be a best of episode. We got Michael Bivins, Sam J, Dream Matchup, Roger Clemens.
Yep.
He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Boston Center, the chat. I was watching back the
Yep.
karaoke for my 30th.
Yeah.
And you know how we ended with Journey?
Yes.
Bro, I was just screaming at that point. Because someone got me too much tequila. Someone.
Wasn't me.
I know this is a fun one. The Michael Bivins combo was great.
Oh, man.
You enjoyed that one.
It was like, bro, that's my childhood. And then
Yep.
when I even like got the job here at
Poison.
Nesson, exactly. When I got the job here at Nesson, I thought, I want to meet Michael Bivins one day.
Mm-hmm.
And now the chance to get to interview him, and we're friendly. We exchange texts from time to
He's a good
time.
dude.
It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy.
He appreciates Nesson a lot.
He does.
And we've done like really cool specials on him, like shows
Yep.
at Fenway, man. But he
Yep.
always appreciates that. Sam J was a cool one too, man. She's from
Fantastic.
Dorchester. Saw her on the Tom Brady roast special. I thought she was funny as hell. I'm like, I need to get her on the show.
Yep.
She stopped by fresh off the plane.
Yep.
Came in 45-minute convo. She was great. So we have a snippet of that. We talk about her dream matchups that we've said all the time in sports. Roger Clemens,
Man.
the Rocket.
Bro, getting a chance to interview him at Fenway, crazy moment for my career.
Yeah, awesome. So here is Michael Bivins, Sam J, dream matchup, Roger Clemens. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys on the other side. This is Boston has entered the chat.
702 ABC. We know a lot of the groups you discovered and your contributions and many others. But I need that Boys to Men origin story, because is it really true what we hear in Motown Philly? Is that the story that they just ran up on you and essentially auditioned for you on the spot? Give me that Boys to Men story, man. I need that.
Man, hey, listen, man, they were backstage. They snuck into a show. They ran into Ron and Rick first. They ran into me second. We exchanged numbers. They sang. They sounded magnificent. It took 2 years to groom them and artists develop them, and signed them through my production deal with Motown, and boom. Long story short, man, one of the biggest, best groups in the world who sold a ton of records and broke a lot of records. They were probably the group that established me as an executive, hands down.
Wow, bro.
Mhm.
That's incredible, man. And even so I explained to you last time we talked, when New Edition first started, I was a little too young, but I was there for the back end and then the reunion. I still listen to that reunion album, man. And I know you guys are touring all over the place. I just can't even imagine the generational fan base that you guys have. People that grew up listening to you, now their kids are listening and they put their kids on. I mean, is that not, Mike Bivins, is that not the beauty of music, just connecting generations of people from all different walks of life together to love what you created, right?
Well, you got to know, right? New Edition was kids.
Right.
So majority of our catalog is teenage. And when you play our music for another kid, it's not hard for them to identify with it because the voices are young, right?
Right.
When we got older, we didn't change the conversation, or we didn't get vulgar or change the approach to the women. We just talked to them as if they went from teenager to young woman to woman. So it's still safe. And that's what it is about New Edition. It's safe. Now, when we get to Bobby Brown, BBD, a little bit of Poison and Do Me, it's safe, but it's a conversation. It's definitely a conversation.
Grown folks.
But the grown folk, right. But the crazy thing is all of that was on radio.
Yeah.
All of it's on radio. So it
Right.
was safe for radio. But you could even see we came into our own too. So I would just say it is generation, and Poison is part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's just as big today as it was in 1990. Period.
Wow, that's incredible, man, and a testament to the work you've put in. Now, you know, I have two more questions for you, and they're both pretty deep. Number one, I know Nesson and yourself is family, and that meant a lot to me to do this interview, and that's why I'm going to go here with you, because cancer has affected all of us in one way or the other personally. You do a ton and have done a ton over the years with the Jimmy Fund. Can you talk to me, Mike Biv, personally, why you are so involved in that? I know obviously you're involved in all community events when it comes to your city, but the Jimmy Fund specifically for you, what does that mean to you, and why are you so deeply involved in it every year?
Well, when you get the call to go on for an hour, they book you as a celebrity, right?
Right.
On the call sheet, it says celebrities and call-ins. And you're like, okay, but if you take the word C from celebrity, you could put it over to C for cancer, and
Mm-hmm.
it just changes all of that.
Yep.
You don't have time to be a celebrity. You have to be compassionate and be open to the stories you're going to hear. And you have to be able to understand there's parents coming here with children that's been through some emotional pain, some family adjustments. Sometimes one parent is more attentive than the other. It takes you on a whole nother ride. You have to have the mental capacity to understand people and the route that they go through in life and being sick and wanting to get the cure, this, that, and the third. So what pulls me into it is I like stepping outside of the music zone to be a people person, to be
Mm.
compassionate, to listen. And then when I'm on there and I'm hosting for an hour, I think even me, like how you guys are, I learn a little bit more about questions,
Mm-hmm.
not to have long questions, not to try to trip somebody up, be able to fluently speak in the way that the mama or the child can answer
Right.
because you allow them to walk right into it. So
Yeah.
I'm like when I'm on the air, man, I be so focused. I get there a little bit earlier than my time slot, bro. It brings out a whole nother thing. I got my polo on and I sit up there like I'm working for nothing. I don't
Yeah.
go up there like I'm Mike Biv, the entertainer. And that's period.
Yeah. Well, listen, we feel that, Mike. We feel that. I mean, that resonates with what you do there, and obviously we appreciate all that you have done and you continue to do over the years. I'll leave you with this. I want to know about growing up black in Boston because, I had told you where I'm from. I'm from that DMV area. And when I got the job here, dig this, I had two different reactions when I got the job at Nesson, okay? My white friends said, Boston's going to love you because you're passionate. You know your sports. Those fans are passionate. They love their sports. So they're going to love you because you're high energy, right? My black friend said, hey, be careful. Be careful. We understand the history of race in this town. So I get here, Mike Biv, I'm going on 3 years being here now, and I lovingly say to you, I have had nothing but love. I've had no incidents, no hate at all. And I'm doing,
Right.
bro, OG, I'm doing radio, podcast, TV. If there was going to be hate directed at me, it could come at me, and it's been nothing but love.
Anytime.
It's nothing but love, dog. And then, not only that, but when I went the first time to get my haircut in the city, I was in Roxbury, and I'm looking around. I'm like, it's diverse here. So can you just talk to me about growing up black in Boston and the kind of reception you got from our people when you went outside of it, that they had a different perception of this city than maybe what was your reality?
Well, you know what's interesting? This is a sports channel, right?
Yep,
Isn't this Nation, right?
yep, yep,
New England Sports Network. Do you
yep.
know why people think Boston is racist or why there's so many white people in Boston? Because when you watch the Patriots, you see white fans.
Mm-hmm,
When you watch the Red Sox, you see white fans. When you watched the game last night, you saw white fans.
mm-hmm.
The thing is, people only see what they're magnified. Now, the interesting thing about your question is the reason I fight and do what I do to sit courtside for the Celtics is for all of the black kids. One, who couldn't afford to get that ticket. Two, who don't know nobody to get in that seat.
Mm-hmm.
And three, each time I'm at the game, I'm representing a sea of black people who are home watching it on TV. So I take it upon myself to represent the voiceless, the people who don't have the finances to do it. And I think because I was bused from Roxbury and went to school in Belmont, an all white school with only 18 black people, I got a chance to get the best of both worlds. So when I'm sitting there trying to explain people Boston from a racial tone or what's real or what's old, I try to help them think we have gotten better and we have come a long way. Can we do more? Absolutely. But we can't control the uprisings. If someone gets shot in the neighborhood and now people want to wild out, that's pain. That's emotion. That's family. That's the neighborhood. But what I can say is when you look at the Celtics players, you look at the Patriots players, you look at
Yes.
Poppy and
Yes.
the Dominican and all that, you can see the team has a flow and
That's
is
right.
spread out,
Yep.
but you can't control the stands. And that's where people got their opinion because of the stands watching the sports and because our team was always at the end, the Super Bowl, the World Series, the NBA championship, the Stanley Cup. You got to see us so many times that you was like, well, damn, that don't look like Atlanta.
Right.
That don't look like, you know what I'm saying? You compared it to the other, that don't look like DC
Right.
when you could see a little bit more color. But as a black man, man, I'm proud. And wherever I go, I defend Boston rather I'm defending white people, Hispanic people, Asian or black, because I wear that B proudly on my chest, man.
Yeah.
And I try to correct people on if they think it's something. And if they're right,
Yeah.
I'll say, you know what? When I go home, let me see if I can address that. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Boom. I
Amen.
take responsibility of their curiosity or how they feel,
Right.
and I don't fight it because I say, you know what? That's from another person's point of view. Let me take that and say, hey, well, I was out of town. They said this, and that.
Yeah.
What can we do to fix that? Are you open to it?
Yeah.
Because people want to come to town, stay at the hotels, go to the restaurants. They want to support us, but we have to welcome and to make them feel welcome.
That's
So
right.
we welcome you from the DMV, just
Yeah.
like the DMV has welcomed me.
That's
So
right.
hopefully I answered your question.
Let's shift gears here. We talked about Captain America himself the other night, Joey Chestnut, being inexplicably, wrongfully, unjustly banned from the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on July 4th because of really money, right? I mean, let's call it what it is. He got a bag from Impossible and Nathan's didn't like it, and so they banned him. So what would Captain America do except turn to his greatest rival, Kobayashi? Now these two are going 1v1 in a hot dog eating contest. I can't believe this is our career. In a hot dog eating contest.
America.
Now, on Labor Day now, which will be on Netflix. And I can't lie, man. I can't wait. I think Joey Chestnut is going to absolutely smoke this fool.
You know what I love? Like, I think it's flying under the radar. Kobayashi retired.
Right.
He said, I don't feel hunger anymore. And then he came out and said, retiring for me will only happen after I take him down one last time. They haven't battled each other in the same arena of glizzy gobbling since 2009. Kobayashi said, I don't care about my pain and my suffering. I need to beat you. And Joey Chestnut's going to wipe the floor with him. But this
crying.
is why you love sport. And you know what? I will call competitive eating a sport
That's
because
what this
that
is?
is a challenge to your body. And you have to train to do it. You know, when Joey Chestnut got banned, I'm like, this is ridiculous. But you know what? Let me not be a grump.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I love this.
It is amazing.
Like, this is ridiculous, but amazing.
The best thing about Netflix here, because I'm thinking about it this way. Like, I would much rather watch this 1v1 on Netflix than to watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest on July 4th without Joey Chestnut.
What do you think
Does that make
rates,
sense?
what do you think rates better?
Netflix. It's not
Yeah,
even close.
same.
But
Because you
here's,
have the two behemoths.
but here's the thing. This is the benefit. Netflix, you know it as well as I do, is going to draw up the drama more on this. Like, there's going to be the montages, the Rocky Balboa training montages with Eye of the Tiger, with these guys facing off like Apollo Creed and Rocky. It's going to be fantastic.
I would love if it's like a UFC fighting card.
Right.
You have like Carmen Ciotti come out of retirement out of
Undercard,
Jersey,
yes.
Eater X,
Oh.
different types of food, nachos, Oreos. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
gonna start ripping off stuff. Cheesesteaks,
Yeah.
sushi. That's a lot of sodium. Get something nasty. I don't know. Even get get eclectic. Who could eat more hummus?
Oh God.
Anyhow.
What does that regurgitate
And then it ends with
like?
I don't want to know.
What does that digest
Luckily,
like?
I've never found out growing up Armenian and Lebanese. And then the final card, prime time. And it's going to be this. Like Netflix they're not going to do a 2-minute up and down. Like it's going to be a 2.5, 3-hour event.
Bro, you get a Michael Buffer intro. Let's get ready to glizzy gobble.
I almost just lost it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. It's time. Have Bruce and Michael do it. Who are the commentators going to be? This is going.
I'm crying.
The 4th of July. I don't watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
You don't?
I'd never
What's
watch
your problem, bro?
I just catch it on Twitter after. This Netflix thing.
You're what?
Kobayashi, Chestnut.
You're dialed in.
Dude, shout out Joey Chestnut. Nathan screwed themselves. He's capitalizing on their muff up.
Bro.
This is going to do numbers.
Are we becoming best friends here? Should we have a viewing party?
I'm down.
Should we have a Labor Day? Wait, Labor Day, that's
Yeah.
a college football opening weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that week 0 or week 1?
It might be week 1 where the good games are. Get that up. You get that up. I'll filibuster here. I'm
listening.
I think in the new years, like let's call it the last 3 or 4 years, college football has been doing week 0, which is like exciting, but the games suck. You get 1 or 2 primetime games. Week 1 is like still the traditional powerhouse games, awesome games.
I hate
think
week
that's
0.
Labor Day. I hate week 0.
But I don't want to detract from this conversation.
And I think Labor Day would be like the prime time, so to speak, games. So we could have
August 31st is week 0.
Okay, so then I'm right?
Oh wait, is Labor Day September 2nd?
Yeah.
So is that week?
So that's week 0.
I don't know.
If you could help us out here on Boston
Saturday, August 24th. That's week 0. Florida State, Georgia Tech. Week 0.
No, week 1 then. That's the.
So week 1.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Week 1.
That's the one.
Is September 2nd.
That's Labor Day, and we get great games. College football viewing. Chestnut smokes Kobayashi. Woo! We'll grill some steaks on aluminum foil. It'll be beautiful. All right, let's move on.
Colorado State at Texas.
I mean,
Richmond at UVA.
There's always
Notre
good
Dame
games.
at Texas A&M.
Actually,
Boston College at Florida State. The meeting of your two. Imagine this. And that's 7:30 at night. You wake up on Labor Day, you watch Chestnut smoke Kobayashi, and then you watch your 2 favorite college football teams, BC and FSU,
I
square
need it
off.
in my life. The fans, they're tweeting all about this Joey Chestnut Kobayashi matchup. America is back, baby. You're damn right it is. We can't wait to be a part of it. Let's go. Who needs July 4th when we got Labor Day, baby? Kobayashi. Chestnut. Let's get it on.
I need one of those.
I do too. I
that
like
mask.
That. Biggest matchup since Stone Cold against The Rock. Look at this. Look at the intensity. Woo! I'm loving that.
I'm trying to think of an equal stare down. It's like Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor.
Oh, that was an intense one. Good call by you. Chestnut against Kobayashi is the Ali versus Frazier of our generation. I'm loving that too, man. I love Twitter. That's from David Sweet there. By the way, speaking of Ali versus Frazier of our generation and Kobayashi against Chestnut, what's your sports dream matchup? Like if you could take anyone in their prime, could be individual players, 1v1, could be teams, and you could match them up in a battle, who would it be?
I would start with Shohei Ohtani against Babe Ruth. They both pitch. They both hit. They're the greatest of their generation.
You know how that's going to end.
Yeah, Shohei's going to smoke drunk Babe.
Yes.
He's going to take him yard. And I would love to see it. And they would just crap all over any of the numbers from back then.
Yes.
Like, this is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he'll pick up his pack of smokes and slam it.
Shohei is a robot cyborg.
Yes.
Gifted to us by the sports gods. So I would love to see that. But also one we truly have never gotten, but we've both watched them play.
Who?
Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Prime.
See, I didn't see Prime Larry. I saw like broke down Larry at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in 94. I never saw Larry, but you know what I mean.
I got to see Larry, but it wasn't Larry.
You have the 2 biggest trash talk. Larry Bird especially. The 2 biggest the biggest trash talker. Shoot left hand, shoot right hand, doesn't care. One of the best offensive players to ever play in the NBA. And then you have Kobe Bryant, and both of them just hyper competitive. Then you have Kobe Bryant. Again, 2 of the biggest competitors ever in the NBA. One-on-one. How would you not want to see that?
I would love to see that. I'm a fight fan, so most of mine are fights.
Of course.
Prime Tyson against Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
I think Muhammad Ali would get him the reach, being taller, faster. But my God, Iron Mike Tyson at his best. Not this shell of a man at 100 years old that's about to get his ass kicked by Jake Paul. But prime Iron Mike against Ali would be must-see TV. Prime Mayweather against Sugar Ray Leonard also would be fantastic. A lot of defense, technical fighting there, speed. I'd love to see that. In the UFC, prime GSP against prime Anderson Silva. Two of the GOATs, two of the greatest to ever do it. They almost fought a few times. Even though Silva was on the back end of his prime, GSP was in his. It never happened.
Was GSP and Islam, are they the same weight class? Islam
yes. But GSP's like that. Yeah, that would be a good fight.
Those are both masters of whatever you want to do.
But GSP, I think, is a little more. He's a little more versatile, so I think he would win that.
But when you watch Islam's last fight against Poirier,
it's like people.
Right, and it's like, well, you don't want to get on the ground with them. And then when it got to the point, all right, we're gonna do this on our feet. Islam just started boxing the hell out of him. So I think that'd be
GSP
sick.
was an animal. I think GSP against Anderson Silva would be lit.
GSP, great name too.
It is. And then in hockey.
Oh.
But not like teams against teams. I want to see Connor McDavid in a skills competition. Like we see him at All-Star Weekend when he wins all of them against Wayne Gretzky.
Yes, hell
because
yes.
I continue to say, and I will go to my grave saying this, Connor McDavid is the fastest skater I have ever seen in my life. And I watched Gretzky. I was a kid for Gretzky. I remember Gretzky. Gretzky still, to me, is the greatest hockey player of all time. But in terms of speed, it's Connor McDavid. And I don't think it's particularly close. So I would love to see those two battle it out just in a skills comp.
I think McDavid gets that one.
I think he could too.
Which is crazy to say.
That's why I want to see it.
I like that thought too. This is a blank against the field.
Yeah.
Drop Bo Jackson into today's NFL. Right? Drop Bo Jackson today's
Bo Jackson against today's modern game.
Or get me, I'm talking peak, like height of his powers in Atlanta, Michael Vick and a Sean McVay or Andy Reid or Kyle Shanahan offense.
Gosh, yeah, that's dangerous.
Remember when Vick got to Philly with Reid? He put up his video game numbers that one season.
I think we're watching it in Lamar. I really do. I think Lamar and Vick are very comparable.
I think Vick's arm strength is better, more accurate too, but they both have that takeoff. But Vick,
like the arm talent,
man, Michael Vick. And Lamar did it with Louisville, so fair. Michael Vick did it with Virginia Tech.
They're very comparable.
Got into the league, the most explosive guy. That's fair. But give me Michael Vick. I want to see it.
No,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, with a real weapons, a modern day offense. It's not terrible. Oh, those wheels are spinning. George loves this topic.
Pele against Mbappe. I don't know. I'm just going soccer here. I'm just throwing this one out there. I don't know.
Pele against Messi. Now we're talking.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we got to talk.
Two different skill sets and size, but still. I mean, the old school in me wants to say Pele, but I think you're going to go old school on everything.
Yeah, but
except for Babe Ruth, which I give you
Messi.
credit.
I think Messi. I need
to get one more in here.
All right, let's get one more. Let's do it together.
Prime Shaq in L.A.
Okay, Wilt.
Yes.
Two dominant big men. I didn't see any Wilt, so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Like people talk about Wilt, the 100-point game. Why is there no footage?
So let's get him in here. Wilt, but progressing through the modern day basketball. Wilt against Wemby.
Oh, because Wilt could body Wemby, but Wemby could take him out and shake on him.
But would Wilt have the skill set of Wemby if he was around today?
Man, we could do this all night. I kind of like this. All we're missing is some drinks. This is a drinking conversation.
Allen Iverson.
All right.
Against shot for shot.
You need a quick guard.
I know.
Don't give me D-Wade
is not sexy.
No. It's got to be. Well, I guess you could go Isaiah because before Iverson, Pistons Isaiah. Before Iverson, he was like the best little man point guard.
Hold on. AI against Kyrie.
That's easy.
Kyrie.
No.
See?
That's not. Why would you say Kyrie? You know, damn well, he ain't got nothing for AI.
I'm talking 2016 Kyrie.
Prime.
Neither of them are going to be able to stop either. Yeah, like give
prime,
me.
prime.
Yeah. 01
Listen, bro,
AI.
AI is destroying
16 Kyrie.
Destroying him.
We got to see it happen.
I see that one. We got a debate right there.
All right.
I think AI would destroy him. All right,
you know what? Wait, final one.
What?
Joey Chestnut against Kobayashi.
Oh,
Sam J in the studio.
What's good?
Thanks for stopping by. You're in the middle of your
thank you
tour.
for having me.
Yeah, across the country. How's that been so far?
Pretty good. You know what I mean? It's been moving. I can't be mad. You know, people are turning up and showing out, so it's been fun.
How is it whenever you come back to Boston and perform? Come back to your home city?
This is only gonna be my second time in September
Really?
at the Wilbur. Yeah, so I did it last year around June. And this will be my second time coming home. So the first time it was cool. We sold out. It was a good time. So I assume this time's gonna be the same. You know what I mean? I'm hoping.
I would imagine, you know, you were a household name before with your stuff on SNL and obviously your series you had on HBO Max and Peacock and all that. But after the roast, I would imagine stuff's changed a little bit.
Absolutely.
And it's not just you being on the roast. Like, you went up there and killed in your time.
Thank you, man.
So what's it been like after the roast, like the aftermath for you?
More white men recognizing me.
Hand up, I guess I'm one of them.
Yeah, a lot of older white guys like, you're Sam J. And I'm like, yeah. So I think definitely the fan base is changing, you know what I mean? And just getting broader for sure.
What was that like? Like, when did you find out you were doing it? How did you prep for that? And you went out, you're like, I'm going to go at Drew Bledsoe. I'm going to go at Tom Brady. And you brought the heat for them.
Yeah. Jeff Ross called me like maybe 6 days or 7 days before the roast, something like that. And he was like, hey, you want to roast Tom Brady? And I was like, hell yeah. And I didn't really realize how big of a deal it was, which sounds stupid and retro, but I just wasn't thinking about it. Like, this is Tom Brady. This is Netflix. It's not going to be like, I'm still putting it in the terms of a festival. I'm like, oh, it's just going to be some like little cool festival thing. I'm not thinking it's going to be like this big live stream thing that everybody's going to watch, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, immediately I just went into trying to get my jokes together because I didn't have that many days to get them together. And my friend Megan Gailey helped me. My homie Radio Raheem helped me. And then, of course, the writers in the roast were very good about, like, just, you know, guiding me, letting me know what people were already doing, kind of what to stay away from. And, you know, everybody who wrote for the roast was just so phenomenal. It's such a great staff. So I just had all that support, you know what I'm saying? And kind of just went in with some ideas of kind of where I wanted to go with it. And then we just kind of walked them through and talked them out, me, Megan, and Radio. And then I would just go to the cellar, you know, work on them every night, refine them in front of an audience until I just got it to where I thought it was ready to go.
How do you do that in front of an audience without like the people you're roasting being there? Do you kind of
It's very
set it up for them?
awkward. You got to set it up a little bit because it's super awkward. It's a super awkward thing to do. And it still doesn't feel great. You know, like you're not getting the best response because they're just kind of like, well, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And we have no reference point for any of it. So it is way more just to like say the stuff out loud and kind of hear the rhythm of the jokes and how things are landing. But you can't really get a good gauge on like, is this going to work?
Yeah. Now, was there any that were shot down? Because you go up there, you're comparing Drew Bledsoe's Super Bowl ring to a strap-on. The OBGYN jokes you're saying with Tom Brady, one last go. I didn't know comedy could still go there, and that's what I loved about the roast. It was, like, refreshing. But was there any part of you were given, you know, your jokes you submitted, and you're like, hey, you can't go here, you can't go there?
No, not for me. They didn't tell me. They didn't give me any parameters, really. They were kind of just like, do your thing. And I was like, okay. And then when I sent them the jokes I had, they were like, yo, these are great. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool.
Was there any point when you're staring down Tom Brady, going at him, making those roast jokes, you're like, in your head, you're like, holy that's Tom Brady?
The whole time. The whole time. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my God, it's Tom Brady. I hope he doesn't get mad at me because I love him.
Yeah. I think, well, in the beginning, you saw, like, when you were starting your joke, he's sitting there like, where is this going?
Yeah.
And by the end, he's keeled over laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
If you had the time, would you have went at Bill Belichick? You had some jokes for him?
I didn't have any jokes for Bill. No, I didn't actually. I was really specific because I was like, I only got so much time, and I had only so much time to write the jokes. So I was like, I picked my 3, and I was like, I'm just gonna hone in on this and get this as like good as I could get it.
Who do you think were the best? Like, who impressed you as the non-comedians?
Nikki. Non-comedians.
Oh, no, you know what? F it. Who impressed you the most that night?
Nikki Glazer for sure. She killed it. She was so funny. I was impressed by Edelman. He landed a lot of the planes very well, I thought. I was impressed by Gronk, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I thought his was really funny. Peyton Manning was really good. And I thought his was really good. Drew Bledsoe actually did a good job, too. A lot of the athletes, I was surprised, like, they had the timing down and they were, like, landing the planes. You know what I mean? I was like, whoa, okay. They're doing this. And that kind of made it fun to do, too, because you could see that they were, like, really getting into it. But I would say probably Peyton Manning and Edelman impressed me the most.
Growing up a Patriots fan, did it hurt you have to say like Peyton Manning was good at it? But I mean, like Tom kicked his ass. It's not like it was Eli.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want him to be good at it. Like when he came out, I was like, boo in my head. You know, I wasn't booing out loud in my head. I was like, boo. And then I was like, oh man, he's likable. You know, like dang, he's actually likable. Bummer. But if it was Eli, I wouldn't have cared what he did.
You hate him no matter what.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered to me.
I got to admit, because I grew up a Patriots fan, but when I was in college, at one point I interned for the Giants. It was Odell Beckham's rookie season, so Eli's still there.
I
obviously hate. Yeah.
Damn.
You know who's cool? Who I hate too? David Tyree.
Damn.
The two people I hate the most in my childhood. They ripped my heart out.
Yeah, they be actually cool when you talk to them.
You meet them, you're like, I actually you, and I hate that about them so much.
That's messed up. That he told me he's cool.
When you met Brady, were you starstruck at all? Like I know I saw you took photos with him after. And everything.
Yeah. I mean, like in my head, I don't think I hope I didn't act like it, but in my brain, of course, I'm like, oh my God, it's Tom Brady, like, you know. But like, I was trying to be like, chill.
What was it like getting up close to him? I mean, there was like the collagen jokes or whatever Edelman was saying about his face. But when you get up and close to him, I mean, it's like candidly. Does he? Like I saw the photo you posted with him. I'm like, that guy looks like too much work. But when you got up close to him, it's like, hey, it's Tom Brady. He's just a good-looking dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't judge Tom at all. I think everything he does is perfect. I agree. I think he's just like the perfect being. Like I don't like people say something like I just don't see it. It's kind of like Shallow Hal. Like you can't get me to see that.
I think it's the hate on him the most. I mean, he won. He was successful wherever he went.
Yeah.
Obviously, a good-looking dude. You know, he got to that point in his career. He's like, I'm going to do the modeling thing. Who cares? And he was unbeatable. So, yeah, people are going to hate him no matter what he does.
He's like, he wouldn't even lose his hair. It started to go. He was like, nah, I don't lose nothing.
He's like 57. He's got more hair than me, and I'm 30. And I hate that.
I think that's so cool.
I'll do the same thing when I get the money for it. Well, for you growing up here, also, what was that like to get the call? Was there any connection of like, hey, you're from Dorchester, you're a Boston sports fan? Or was it solely like Jeff Ross knew how good of a comedian you were and he wanted you up here on that?
I think it was both.
Okay.
You know, I've known Jeff for a long time. You know what I mean? I met him, you know, early into my career and stuff. And, you know, we've been on the road with Dave together, so we know each other pretty well. And also, he knows I'm from Boston, you know what I mean? So I think it was like a win-win type of a situation, you know? And I think they were happy to have at least one person from the city, like, on the dossier, you know?
Mm-hmm. Did you know the magnitude of the roast when you were doing it? Like, did you understand?
No, not at all. I was being dumb. Yeah. I kind of minimize things in my mind intentionally because I just don't want to get overwhelmed by them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So like as soon as I heard it, I was like, just do the work. I just went right into like, write your jokes and da-da-da. So I wasn't thinking about it. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just wasn't thinking. Mm-hmm. And then when we got to the forum, I kind of was like, oh, okay, we're at the forum. And then my manager was like, yeah, we need you down at the red carpet in like 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, there's like a carpet for this? And she was like, yes, Sam. Like, what do you think this is? And I was like, okay. And then I'm like, go to the carpet and it's like people like flashing and like calling names. And I'm like, and I looked at my manager. I was like, so this is like a big deal. And she was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, but then it's like, yeah, duh, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Exactly.
They spent a lot of money on this. You know, like
they're gonna make it right.
They're gonna make it right. You know what I mean?
Up.
And then when I went to like run the rehearsal and I saw like the audience and it was like Kim Kardashian and all the little card placements for who was gonna be sitting where. And then I realized like, yeah, everyone's gonna be coming like dressed up. I was like, oh, this is like a thing.
You knew, I didn't know if anyone knew Kim K would be there before. I was surprised she was there at all.
Yeah. I didn't find out till I went to rehearse like 2 hours before.
Yeah, I think it's better off. The second I'd see that name, like let alone Tom Brady's and whoever was there, the second I see that name, like, oh shit, this is going to be a big deal.
That's what I thought. Seriously. It was serious. Like once I saw that, I was like, oh, this is like a thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
It's a good thing you brought a good fit with you. Like to rock there, not knowing there'd be a red carpet because that matters.
They told me like to wear a suit. So I was like, cool, I'll wear a suit. But I don't know. I just thought for the optics of it, they wanted us in suits.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking like, I just wasn't putting it together. It was very silly of me.
Did you grow up watching roasts?
I have not seen every single roast, but I've seen a good amount.
Yeah, so you like knew it, but to be that big.
And yeah. I knew what it was, and that's why I thought they wanted us in the suits or whatever. I was like, oh, they're going to have us in the suits or whatever. And it was at a festival, so that's the difference too. I was just putting it all within the guise of the festival.
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking about it as its own thing.
I understand that. And then was it the next day, like, Or actually, I mean, like night of, your phone blowing up, maybe
Yeah.
followers going up on Instagram, whatever it may be.
It was like overnight kind of for sure.
I'll tell you, because we were watching it in the office and you got up and like I'm listening, but I'm like typing stuff, like I'm more listening to the comedy, and then you started going. And it's like the strap-on joke. I'm like, who the F is this? One of my coworkers walked on. He's like, oh, that's Sam J. I'm like, we look it up. He's from Dorchester. And then you did the Brady jokes. I was like, holy shit. Because you just went. And like, whatever, how much time did they give you? Like, do you know how much time you get up there?
I feel like we all had like 5 to 6 minutes or 4 to 6 minutes or something like that.
Whatever your 5 minutes was, like you went out, like shot like 7 for 7 from deep, had a
Appreciate
posterized dunk. But like, I think that was sick was like you went up and there was the big names, the Jeff Rosses, the Burt Kreischer's, Andrew Schultz was there, right? But you went on and you just put your imprint on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so that's why I ask, like, you know, did it kind of like amplify even more, I guess, on the comedy
Absolutely.
scene? But I feel like, you know, comedy fans knew who you were, though.
Yeah, I would say like I wouldn't say necessarily on the comedy scene. Like all those comics that were there, I've known for a long time.
Yeah,
we've known each other. They know me very well. So it wasn't like that. And, you know, I'm pretty known within comedy. Not to, you know, stroke my own strokey.
No,
but,
you're good. I'm a casual at comedy.
I do think
you know?
it did like bring me more out of like
Yeah.
the niche comedy people that know comedy, you know, and it kind of expanded that audience to casual comedy fans, people that just like Tom Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like it brought in kind of everybody for a moment in a way that I haven't had a moment like that yet in my career for sure.
It's cool because it bridges fandom. I mean, that's the perfect way you put it. There's the sports fans and people that love Tom Brady, like Buccaneers fans. You know, it's like, you know, a good few years for him. And then there's the comedy fans that are watching because it's a roast and it kind of connects everything on that.
Exactly.
And to put you on completely like different people's radars and everything.
100%.
I mean, for me, it's like, you know, like Bill Burr's my favorite comedian because I feel like what he says is so true. Like, you know, like it's accurate for real life. Obviously, Chappelle's great. Like those are the guys I know. I saw him live and it was like he was here at the Garden and it was like the gift of his storytelling. And, you know, it was like 17,000 people, but you felt like he was talking to you, which is like what like boggled my mind, like truly gifted, not talented, like he had a gift.
Yeah.
But like you go up and do that. It's like, all right, now I know Sam J. I knew Andrew Schultz, but like now I know him. Nikki Glazer, same thing like that. So what does a roast like that like do for comedy, you think, as a whole? Is it just, again, it bridges the audiences?
I think it bridges the audiences. I think it also just like to see us doing, because really like at the end of the day, it's a little bit insular, right? We're up there, we're competing with each other. We want to like out roast each other. We're having our fun little back and forths. We're laughing. It shows like the community of it. And I think sometimes people will like isolate somebody like Schultz and be like, I don't like his style of comedy, or I don't like these jokes, or these jokes are offensive. But when you see all different types of people sitting together, joking together, hanging out, throwing shots at each other that are harsh as hell, it's like, yo, it's a lot more even playing field than that. You know what I mean? And I think it shows that as well.
It's kind of like what comedy is. It's like all the different jokes coming together, different type of deliveries and everything too. On all that. What about Patriots? Like, what do you think? Drake May, Gerard Mayo?
I don't know, man. I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna chill and watch.
The pain of watching Mac Jones for 3 years just came through.
Man. I'm just gonna sit and watch.
Be patient.
Patient. I have no predictions. I have no theories.
Yeah.
I will say I'm tuning back. I will say I tuned out. I'm going to be tuning back in.
The Mac Jones era had you tuning out.
I stopped last year. I said no.
Yeah.
My brother was watching every game. I said, why are you doing this to yourself?
Why are you doing that grief?
Yeah. I said, what are you doing this to yourself for?
It's torture.
He was like, you just don't watch anymore? I said, no. There's no reason. I'm not doing it.
I think it's like one of the healthiest relationships you could have as a sports fan of like, I'm not going to watch that because I know it's going to be, and I'm not going to put that pain on myself.
I'm not going to just be up here sad every Sunday, bro.
I think patience is the right thing with May because I think it's going to take a few years because the roster's that bad.
Yeah, I got to just
And he's going to take a few years to be like a solid starter, but the kid's ceiling's great. Like he'll be better than Mac was ever close to being, you know?
Yeah. I agree, but we just got to chill.
Yeah. All right, you gave me your Boston Mount Rushmore. If you gave me your like top 4, your favorite, you know what? I'll give you top 5. Who are your 5 favorite Patriots players ever?
Dang.
No Mount Rushmore here. I'm giving you a little more of a roster.
Okay. Harrison.
Rodney Harrison.
McGinnis.
Should be a Hall of Famer.
Tom.
Yeah.
Vince Harry.
Yeah. Cold-blooded. Gronk, yeah?
Yeah.
I like that. Gronk's greatest tight end of all time. Obviously, Brady's
he's also
a go.
just fun.
Right? I think, like, his existence is the greatest because he was a pro athlete, got out there, it was okay for him to just be a frat boy. And right now he's still like, he makes jokes at his own expense of being dumb.
Yeah.
And like no one cares. There's like no expectations for him, which I think is awesome.
And he's way more like in on the joke than I think people think he is.
Good for him.
No, seriously, like I thought he showed that in the roast when he got
Yeah.
up there. Like he's way more in on the joke than people actually give Gronk credit for.
Yeah. Who out of like Boston athletes or Patriots players you met, you're like, damn, he's like a real, like just a low key, salt of the earth, down to earth person.
You know, weirdly, Drew Bledsoe, after I made fun of him, I was like, he's so cool and he's so nice. And we like
Yeah.
hung out and we like drank at the Comedy Store. And I was like, this dude is rad.
Fresh off the roast.
Yeah. He like came and chilled with the comics. He like, he's so cool.
I respect that about him of like, it's comedy, you came at me, but that was
Yeah.
funny as hell. Like I can't.
He put me
hate.
in the headlock. It was
Did he
awesome.
really?
Yeah.
He's a big dude, Drew Bledsoe. People
I was
don't
like,
know
Drew's
that.
cool as hell.
What did he say to you after? Did he give you like?
He was like, why were you so mean? And
Yeah,
then he
you're
like
like,
put me in the headlock. And then we like drank. We just did shots and stuff.
I want to end this talking a little more about your like tour across the country and you being back at the Wilbur in Boston in September too. What excites you the most? Like second show coming back to Boston.
Just the energy. I think it's just going to be so much different since the roast. You know, I think more of Boston knows who I am as well. You know what I mean? And so to see just the energy, I just think the energy is going to be real live. I'm just excited because I think it's going to be like, it's going to be fire.
What makes a venue like the Wilbur special?
That's where everybody goes, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
was growing up. I was going there to see like plays with my mom, and that's where every comic came through. And especially when you first start comedy in this city, you see the little marquee outside of who's coming, and you're like, man, one day, you know, one day. It's one of those one day, and it's in your city, you know. So like being able to do that at home and have one of my one days be crossed off the list is fire.
I'm getting chills about that. And when you started, was that always like an aspiration to get into the Wilbur? Like when you were chasing open mics and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I
right?
remember that Nick's Comedy Stop, which was across the street in that club over there. And they had another room that was below the Wilbur. And they would do shows there. And I was headlining, or I was featuring one of those shows that was, and some more was at the Wilbur above my head, literally on top of me. And you could hear the laughs from the Samore show like bleeding down into our show. And I was like, one day I'm going to be upstairs and not in this basement
Yeah.
doing a show, you know what I mean? So like, for sure, from, you know, very early, when you start to just set benchmarks of your own city, the Wilbur is a place for Boston.
That's awesome. That's a great note to end on. Sam J, I appreciate you taking the
Thank
time.
you.
Awesome to meet you.
Nice
You're
to
a
meet you as
great
well.
person. Love
Thank
your
you.
comedy. September 7th in the Wilbur for Sam
Yeah,
J.
September 7th.
In Boston.
Grab
It's a
your
Saturday
tickets.
night. Yeah, get the tickets. Come out, support her. She's from the city. Loves it. Always represents it. Sam, again, thanks for the time.
Appreciate you.
Rocket, let's start there. We know why you're here today, but let's talk about the shoulder. How you feeling, man? It looks like you were working hard out there.
After about 600 BP pitches, I like throwing 50 miles an hour. I'm still going to have to ice, but that speed's perfect batting practice for the groups. And like I said, I love it. I get to get on my stomping grounds right here where I made my name, and the Jimmy Fund's been great. Red Sox great. Grounds crew here. I mean, I told both groups. I still get thrilled about it. I said, look, you guys understand you're taking batting practice at Fenway Park, you know, where some of the greats have stood in that dirt. And we covered the bases. It was a first for me today. I threw to a 92-year-old grandpa. He got up out of his chair and stood in there, and we hit his bat a couple times. And I think the youngest today was 11 years old. So we covered him. And then this group here looked like some college players. So I had to get behind that L screen. They were hitting good. They were just dying to hit one over the green monster.
Man. You know, there's a history of you doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, man. I mean, take me back to the beginning of it, and even to present day, and why you continue to do it.
Yeah, the Red Sox, Mrs. Yawkey introduced me to the Jimmy Fund in 1984 when I was a rookie here, coming out of the University of Texas. And the relationship has been great ever since. And, you know, instead of the sit-down long dinners, we came up with these Rocket Man experiences, and one of them's batting practice at Fenway Park. I do one in my private home in Houston, and we do some golf outings, which are real fun too. But it doesn't get better than this. I mean, I get to throw BP to you at Fenway, and the the fans and people who support the Jimmy Fund, they get a little bang for their buck on this auction item. So their donations to the Jimmy Fund, it goes unmatched what the Jimmy Fund's done over the years. It's just been incredible. And like I said, one of the famous stories that is out there quite a bit was, I'm not sure what year it was, maybe one of my Cy Young years, but we got contacted by a little girl's family. And so the game started at 7:35 p.m. back there, and I came in, I drove in, and I went straight to the hospital, and I was in my jeans and boots and a golf shirt. I think I had a hat on maybe, and walked in her room, and she's a big Rocket fan, and when I walked in the street clothes, she goes, you're not Roger Clemens. And I go, I am. She goes, no, you're not. And the family's looking at me. I say, all right, hold on. I had a Boston police officer with me, and he brought me back to Fenway. I put my entire uniform on, and I went back, and when I walked through the door, she goes, Roger Clemens, it's the Rocket, And so it was, that's kind of what started the great relationship too.
Well, I know you have a lot of charitable things as well in Houston and other places, but can you talk to me about Boston? Because I know, aside from BP, you have a lot of charitable things you do in the city. Talk to me about that and why you continue to do that and why Boston means so much to you.
Yeah, I mean, I got my start here. Bruce Hurst, and my pitching mate, gave me my nickname, the Rocket, here, and after it struck out 20 guys. And this is home for me. I got drafted here. It was, I found out my mom was big into history before she passed away, her whole life. And she wrote me a nice poem, and I got drafted by the Red Sox. And it was really cool when they brought me in here. I walked in through one of the tunnels and saw all the green grass and the big green monster. So it was a great stepping stone for my career for sure, and just wonderful memories. Made a lot of history in a ballpark full of history. But I think, again, I just celebrated 30 years of the Roger Clemens Foundation. We help at-risk children, and I still do a little work in each of the 4 cities I play in, but nothing bigger here than what I do with the Red Sox.
Happy anniversary to you, by the way.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of anniversaries, you mentioned those 20 strikeouts. Now, you've only done that twice in your career, but your last win with the Red Sox was that. Take me back to that time, throwing that, because we're coming up on that anniversary.
Yeah, it's coming up. You're right. I get contacted by my teammates. Getty. Getty cut my game here. Billy Hasselman cut the one in Detroit. Marty Barrett. Marty will send me a text. Hursty will send me a text. And it's just great to stay in touch with your teammates that you battled so hard with. To do it twice, I mean, it's just crazy. And these guys, these younger guys I threw to today, they brought up some stuff that that I didn't realize, but I did realize. Then I told them what's really cool about what you're talking about last win is I'm not in front or behind the great Cy Young here. I'm tied with him in wins, I believe, in the history of this franchise. And I think in shutouts. So it's really cool for me, who I've been fortunate to win his award 7 times, to be, attached at the hip with Cy Young. So when you start getting your name mentioned with some great ones with Cy Denton Youngs and Walter the Train Johnson and guys like that, it's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Now, what about the current team? They're fighting for a wild card spot. Just your thoughts on the current team. I don't know how much you're following. I mean, you think they got a good shot at this or what?
Absolutely. To me, it looks like they're having fun.
Yeah.
Again, instead of grinding, you grind up here because you want to make a great showing in front of the passionate fans. That there's nothing like baseball in the Northeast, and the passion that the fans have here. But it looks like to me they're having fun, and when you do that, you relax a little bit, and then hitting gets contagious. But they got to get their arms ready. Everybody knows when you get mid-September. And you want to, be one of those teams playing in October. You got to pitch it and you got to catch it, and you're going to see everybody's number 1 and number 2. Some of these hitters face off guys, the 3, 4, 5 starters, but you're going to have to hit, you're going to have to hit guys like me and Pedro when the lights get bright.
Right. They don't make them like no more, though. You or Pedro, to be honest with you. In fact, look, I'm a big Paul Skeens fan. Who isn't? But some of these new pitchers, they don't go deep into games like you guys did. The analytics is all in it. They pull them out early. What do you think of the new age pitchers? I mean, I'm sure talent-wise you have to be impressed with it, but the game has just changed so much. Where you guys were workhorses, now it almost seems like a lot of these dudes are protected against themselves in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, analytics, I'm not high or low on. I'm kind of in the middle. I still believe that, instead of punching stuff in a computer and say, hey, get the guy out of there because the average goes up against him, I still believe that, your pitching coach or maybe even your manager, you got to do an eye and a heart test with your guy. And Yeah, I mean, who knows if you're going to have, complete games are going to be something that we never see again. And the guy like Skis that you talked about, he's got a great lower half. He's strong down below, so that'll help him. But there's some pressure innings he's pitching now. They'd probably be, if they're not in it, be best to, shut him down and rest him, because it doesn't matter, how good you are or whatever. At that stage in your career, those are pressure innings and stressful innings. And you just never know what, quality start was 7 innings, 2 runs or less with us. They're going to probably have to lower that. You every once in a while you'll see a guy go 7, 8 innings, which is like everybody freaks out about, but that was routine. You're just like, wow, okay, giving the bullpen a rest. So, but again, guys like Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver paved the way for me to do what I was able to do, and you paved the way for these younger guys to come up and do their thing. And speaking of that, what a blessing for me. I'm a power pitcher. I don't throw, I pitch. Sure. No matter if I have my 98 or I'm at 92 miles an hour. And I was afforded the luxury. We traded for Tom Seaver in 1986. He got hurt, so he wasn't on our playoff roster. But I got to watch a 40-year-old man out there, throwing 88 miles an hour, get in trouble, and then he busts one in there 92, 93 for a strikeout. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. I see where we're at here. So I got to see and pitch with and be a teammate of who I consider the ultimate power pitcher in Tom Seaver.
Yeah, you learn the game within the game almost,
Absolutely.
Right? All right, now that's pitchers. Before I let you go, who are some guys that you love watching to play the game right now in baseball? I imagine Judge has to be up there, but who else?
Yeah, well, those hitters, man, those guys, and like when I was in the movie Ty Cobb, and one of the famous lines Ty Cobb said, "My sister Florence could hit the ball out of right field at Yankee Stadium." So facing somebody like Judge or Stanton, you got to crowd those guys. Here, I would force them to, I'd be a little more careful inside with them here because of the short wall. Maybe pitch them away, but they're so good. Yeah. They can punt the ball anywhere. But you just got to be careful with guys like that. They're fun to watch. I mean, again, I people ask me about facing guys or pitching against guys over my career. I came up, and I got to face. My goal was to get to the big leagues in time to face Reggie Jackson. He was one of my favorite of all time. And Reggie's heard the story. We're close friends. He does some work with the Astros right now in my hometown. And but I remember he was a California Angel, and I faced him right here at Fenway Park. And I mean, I found myself behind the mound untying and retying my shoes. They weren't untied, but I could just our Sherm Feller, our announcer, now batting for the California Angels, number 44, Reggie Johnson. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in the big leagues. I'm facing Reggie Jackson. So, but I faced some, the Dave Kingmans, Don Baylors, the Luzinskis. Had wonderful teammates like Jimmy Rice and Dwight Evans. Just some tremendous, guys watching them, hit the ball around this ballpark. So I was very fortunate in my career. I played 24 years. I faced, guys all the way from the Robin Younts and to the Pujols, and so it's just a great journey that I was on. I was fortunate to stay healthy.
I saw the horns up over there. What do you think? Yeah. Sarkisian's going to have these boys ready to go or what?
They'll be ready. I don't know how these college coaches do it now with the portal and everything. I really don't, but they do it. And I'd imagine once the season starts, everybody, we don't want to hear what you're making or whatever. You got to play football. But SEC is going to be tough, and I'm looking forward to get going. I had the opportunity to talk to the football team the other day in Austin, and Sark is a huge. I don't know if your viewers know it, but I was at the Alabama game a couple of years ago and hadn't met him. And I'm standing on the sidelines. They're about, they're 5-10 minutes away from kickoff, and he's hugging his coaches, and he looks up and he sees me. And here he comes, he beelines right at me. He goes, Rocket, I'm the biggest friggin' Red Sox fan. I love the Red Sox, man. They're my team, man. You did it. You killed it there. And we hug, and I said, Coach, you're getting ready to do a kickoff here against Alabama. Bring it ready. So about a week later, I got one of my Red Sox jerseys, and I sent it to him for his office, and he's got it right there in his office. So he's a big Red Sox guy.
Hey, Sark, come on, man. You're welcome here at Fenway, man. Come on up.